Okay, hey everybody, how's it going? So this week we're going to cover one of my favorite topics is setting up a fighter wrap, or what to do to set up a great wrap so they don't break their hands or they don't injure their main tools, their hands, okay? So I learned this like a long time ago from going to different shows and learning from a bunch of different cutmen on the ways they like doing it. So I have 3 or 4 different ways, but today I'll cover the way I mostly do with a pad on things. So first one is we always start with a hand massage. So we're gonna do Maggie's both hands and we'll go from there. So the whole time you gotta make sure everything's moving well, there's nothing locked. At the same time you're warming up the hands, moving everything around. If you find their hands are cold, it's a good time to warm it up. I like pulling on the fingers a little bit, get everything going. It's kind of a good time to see how the fighter's doing, see how nervous they are. If they're really nervous, you can kind of get their mind off things. Tell them to close their eyes, relax, breathe, tell them a little story. Okay. She has really cold hands, so it's gonna take a little while, sorry. So what I like doing, my favorite ones are the Rival wraps. They're 9 meters long and 2 inches thick. These are my favorite ones. I usually use Rival tape also, but because we kind of did this on the last minute, we just bought just sports tape. And for in between the fingers, you go to Walmart and you can buy the adhesive tape for between fingers. This is the best one, so you don't have to cut anything else. And we're just gonna use that for the video. So you have your solid wrap here. I like going, the best way to do it is going away from the thumb the whole time. So when you squeeze your hands, it actually gets tighter and not looser. So you start here, and go around. So I like going around the wrist a few times to get my base. There we go. Now you have to make sure that they have their hands wide open. So you're gonna go around the palm a little bit. She's gonna hold this for me. So usually I would have this stuff done in advance, but I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. So you take another thing of gauze, you measure her wrap out, and you're gonna fold it over. Depending on what sport you're in, you can kind of change the thickness level. For like anything with a big 10 ounce, 12 ounce glove, or 4 ounce gloves, you change it up big time. So this is just one way I do a pad. Maybe if I'll do the other hand, I'll show the second way I do a pad. So I usually like about 16, 12 to 16, depending on the person's size of their hand, their division, their glove. One of the most important things is having a good set of scissors. I use the Rival scissors too. First thing what we do is we fold it in, we go around and lock it in. There we go, and we get our hold again. Bring it forward a little bit, and now we're going to take all the material and bring it back. So now there's a little pad there. You try and encase everything you can. She's going to open her hands up. Go around a couple times. Make a knuckles real quick. Open. There we go. So now we're gonna go back around. It's not, and people think it's the same as wrapping your hands in class, but it's way, way different because you have to protect things in class. You're kind of just doing just protect your knuckles and stuff, but in fighting, you have to protect so you don't break your hand at the metatarsal or tarsal here. So you have to make sure everything's always going around. And you have to make sure you don't break your thumb by hitting your thumb joint. I like using, for Maggie, I don't use a full wrap usually, like a full gauze. You'll just use about 3/4, but for today I'm just gonna go as much as I can. And her hands are spread out the whole time because what happens if you don't, your hands are gonna be suffocated after. Okay, knuckles. And make sure the knuckle line is perfect. Open. We gotta follow. You gotta follow. If you're in Quebec, there's a rule set. There's Ontario. There's a rule set in the states. So depending what state you're in, there's a rule set. I've been to places where you can't even use tape between the fingers, so you have to use extra gauze. So usually I have a 2-inch tape and a 1-inch tape. For tape, we'll just use this. One and a half, maybe a 1.5. So you start here. So again, you're going away from the thumb. I go up on top first. And what happens, you're making a lot of space here, and then you're going back around. So that stops it from your circulation being caught up. So nice and long, go back over. So it's taut, but not like super tight. So I usually just stop there for a second, and we go to the other side. And again, usually I have this done in advance, but I want to show you every step I take. So we have this small little stuff here. Let's take it away for a second. You usually have them set on the chair like this. I usually have both hands all ready to go to. I usually don't do this per side. I'm making them way longer just so I can show you how to cut them and everything too. But after a while, you just kind of know, especially if you wrapped up your hands many, many times, you kind of know the size they need. All right, so she's gonna come back. We open her up. So now, if you look at the camera, there's like that one little spot here. You kind of take your finger and you pull it open. All right. So I put it down. So sticky side up. She's gonna put her finger on it. I like taking my baby finger, I put it through. I make a little hook here. So now I put the tape, the sticky part on the back side of my knuckle. She's gonna pull it back tight, right here. And she's gonna let me drag it through. So now I have this and I go back into the palm. I put the sticky on top, I pull it back. So now from here I pinch it. So it's not gonna pinch her skin. She's gonna turn her hand around and she's gonna make knuckles. So now this is really important part. See how it's all loose and stuff like this here? I tuck it under. Pull a little bit tighter. Knuckles, there we go. And you go all the way down. Well, this one is not so bad, but see how it's kind of off a little bit? So you just take your, right there. Take your scissors, you cut that off. Second one. So I always start, my personal method is I start between, then I go the pointer finger, then I go ring finger. Because these are the knuckles you're hitting harder with. So those are the most important ones. So she goes back, pulls back, put my finger through, I go under, I hook it, I put the tape on the back side of my baby knuckle, nice and sticky all the way up to my nail, and I drag it through. And just until I see a little bit. And then I pull it through, get the stick, pull it all the way through, super taut here, nice and tight. I pinch it from there all the way up to the knuckle line right here. She turns it around. As she's turning, I'm pulling it tight here too. And I like crossing over. There we go, it's gonna be good. Fix that up. Last one, this one's super long. You can go up to 1 knee if you want. Can you go to 1 knee? 1 knee? Actually, I'm gonna cut this. This one's way too long. There we go. Switch here. So that's one. This is one that usually gives me a callus after a while because it's so tight. So get it through. She's gonna bring it through. This one rolled up a little bit, so you unroll it. You gotta make sure you're able to pull it over enough so it is able to stick on the other side of the tube, okay? So then I go through, pinch, pinch, pinch. All right, wait just a second. All right. Now see if you look at the knuckle, look at the knuckles. See how it says it's off a little bit here? That's more causing this like for me, but it's not gonna affect her fighting at all. But everything is nice and on her knuckle, so she makes a nice tight fist. Everything's covered. I just like making it nice looking, okay? You gotta be proud of what you do. Hands open. Knuckles hard. Some people take it and wind it up, but that's pretty much illegal now, pretty much everywhere I think. All right, so now after that's done, she makes a nice tight fist, and I go back around this side again. Again, nice and long, bring it across. Overlapping the whole way, so I just go about halfway. All right. It really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how your gauze really is, as long as it protects the knuckles and the back of it. It's the tape that does a lot of the work. So she's gonna open. Now I always call this my starting position. So for me, it's above her thumb, but for her, it's below her thumb. That's my starting position. So I'll go across, right to the, so, no, just do this first and go through. Close your knuckles. Open. So what happens in a lot of commissions, you need 1 inch here, all the way through. So I just use the tip of my thumb to the knuckle. That's about 1 inch, and I just go across. If that is it, I know I'm good. She opens. Close hard. Open. Gotta get that thumb joint closed hard as you can. One more time. Here. Take your scissors and get rid of some of the air pockets that you notice. People think that's done, but there's a lot left to go. So you can turn her hand upside down. We'll just put your hand facing the camera, like this. See how it's like all bounced up, and the hand's gonna be cramping up a little bit. So now we gotta clean that up. So what I like doing is I go, there's a little slot here, I pick it up, and I go about 1 inch down, and I give it a good snip. I cut all that out. Usually it's kind of messy when I'm done. I make a little slit on this side, a little slit on this side, I fold it under. Stretch the hand out a little bit. And now this is up to you. Like some people don't like cleaning it up, but again, you gotta kind of be proud of your work a little bit. So then this is the first part where you go. So turn her, I want to clean that up a little bit more. So you can go back and kind of ask her how move your hand a little bit. It's probably gonna be a little bit tight.
Yeah.
So what happens is you want it tighter now because as she gets warmed up, it's gonna get a little bit looser. You gotta make sure when you do it, you're crossing the metatarsals here, so you don't want to break the hand and the knuckles. So nice and tight. Probably make that a little bit prettier, but for now, that's pretty good. Okay, we'll do the other side. I was like, there's a nice little, kind of looks nasty now, it's kind of frailed a little bit. Just gotta cut that off. So it really has no effect on the wrap itself, it's just something I like doing. So nice and tight. I'll go back around a few times. Like that, there we go. Boom, it's gonna go good. Back around the hand, nice and wide hands. And when you go around the knuckles, it's not below the knuckles, you wanna go over top. So there's a gap here, right here. You wanna make sure you go, like make a webbing in your hand a little bit. That way it's easier to do your knuckle padding after. And I'll show you the second way I usually do the knuckle pad. So she's gonna hold it. So the first one I did was just folded it on my lap, but now me and her have roughly the same size hands. So I go around. I go like this a couple times. There we go. And then I'm gonna go all the way up my hand now. So overlapping just slightly all the way up. There we go. And I can kind of see my fingers underneath, so I want to go over enough where I can't see it anymore. Then I go back over a couple times. Nice, good, good, good. Okay, good. So now I have this here. So it's thicker at the bottom, a little bit narrower at the top. I put that part up, and I see the part I cut, it's right here, so I can hide it. I go right here. If I have a chance, I usually do this method right here. I find it gives a much better wrap and better knuckle. So she goes here, like that. Fold it back around. Good. Oh, lost it a little bit. There we go. Just look at the camera. See how that knuckle pad is there? That's going to be a nice one. So now she's going to make her knuckles. I go over that knuckle pad just in case it. Make sure it's tight against the knuckles in the proper spot. So this is where you need to practice. Okay, open. At the beginning, it'll shift more towards the pinky side or the pointer finger side. You just got to make sure it's nice and level the whole time, okay? And then I go around the thumb too. I don't like seeing any skin on top. That means it's just not wrapped properly. And I always Xing across the back of the hand, so that way I know she's not going to get injured if she's punching. For Maggie, it's mostly MMA, so you gotta make sure it's a good MMA wrap. Small gloves usually tend to lead to more hand injuries, but if you do a good hand wrap, you'll see. Knock on wood, knock on wood, I've never had anyone that I've wrapped break their hands before. There we go. So we take away from the thumb, nice and long here, back around, nice and long, back around. There we go. Let's just keep everything in place, and she's going to turn her hand back around. Oh, where's our tape? So we go back. One, two, three. Okay, so then we're going to move this around. Usually I like the right side being on one side of the chair and the left side being on the other side of the chair, just so it doesn't get in the way. All right, so pass it in your hand. Look at that spot right here. So I open it up. Bunch it up a little bit, okay, good, perfect. Roll it up underneath, nice little bar, perfect. Take one, I always start with the pointer finger, sticky side up. She's gonna put her finger on it, and she's gonna pull it away from you so it's nice and taut, okay? So finger goes underneath, hook it, put it on the back side of my knuckle all the way to my nail, pull it through, unwrap it, get the tape to go on top of each other. Now pull it tight. Now you gotta make sure that you get the sticky part on together. So you pinch it like that. If you don't, you're gonna notice you're gonna pinch your fighter's skin. She goes, she makes knuckles. And I prefer putting in my teeth. There we go. She's gonna go like that, back side. I find if you do the first knuckle properly, it leads to a very, very good wrap after. Okay. Perfect. And if this is an actual fight, you'd be talking to them the whole time, chilling, relaxing, telling them cool little stories, little dad jokes. She turns. She's gonna make knuckles. Let it for a second. Bring your hand up a little bit. And I like crossing at the top. And make sure you fix it along the way, so you don't want a nasty looking wrap. There's no the other corner man will laugh at you. No one wants to be that guy or girl in the back. You can't wrap the hands properly. Pull it back a little more. Good, good, good. All right. So if it bounds up, you've got to make sure you get rid of it right here. You can't let it go any further. So you bring it through, and you bring it through. Like I said, this side is usually the hardest because it's so tight by now, but unroll it. Make sure it sticks. When I first started, I did that part with a pen or a pencil back in the day, but then I just started doing it with the finger because it's just time saver. Yeah. Nice, okay. So when you're looking at that, I like to make sure there's like a nice straight line right here. I don't see any knuckle. Perfect. This one is the pinky's a little bit high, but most of all, if you look at it, I like the spacing being pretty even also. Again, that's just a personal preference. Okay, then what I do is I lock it in, away from the thumb. All right, and then we're gonna go fix it up. So again, if you messed up on the gauze anywhere, the tape will fix it. Go here, open it nice and wide. So the pinky's a nice little trick. You go as wide as you can. You find that joint, the knuckle joint, that one right here, and you're gonna pull right across it. Go under, now I'm gonna go back across without losing the tension in the tape. And then I'm gonna go back side of the knuckle, over the metatarsals, right to the 1 inch line. She's gonna open her hand nice and wide. Now she's gonna close it. I find my line. So this is my ruler for the rest of the wrap. Yep, 1 inch. Nice and wide. I'll go with the thumb again, make sure, because it's MMA, you gotta make sure you don't break that thumb. Again, usually I have a little bit thinner tape for this part, but I'm just using the thicker tape today. She'll turn it upside down. Now again, see how it's really nasty looking? We gotta fix that up. So again, I put it in 1 inch. Cut back across. Clean up your work a little bit. And then I put a little gap, little snip on this side, a little snip on this side. And then I fold this part in. It's just an easy way to make a nice bar. See now, look how nice that bar looks right there. This stuff we could fix up a little bit more. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, like I said, I'm just gonna clean up that nasty edge. Depends how much time you had and how many fighters you have on the card. All right, so she goes here. So now she's gonna make knuckles again with both hands. So then I use the back side of my scissors, the nice rounded part. And again, you just go over. You want to melt that tape a little bit, make sure there's no air pockets anywhere. There we go. Making last minute corrections. That pinky is a little bit big, but in reality, it doesn't really matter too much as long as it fits in the glove. So she's gonna face the camera here a little bit. Go ahead. All right, so I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit here. So now we're gonna look at, she's gonna make a nice tight hand, both hands, knuckles like this. So this one was the padded method I did on my lap here. See, that one came out good, but look at the depth and the curve of the one I did with that kind of that triangle one. So depending on what style you like they're both pretty effective. This one, like I said, the pinky's a little bit too high for my liking, but it has a nice layer on top of the knuckles. This one too, this one's more curved, so this one will fit into an MMA glove pretty good. This will fit into a nice tie 10-ounce mitt, pretty good too if you're, especially if you have the amateur ones where they're a little bit thicker. You won't even really need them that thick anyway, but for the MMA glove, both are good. Depending on the fighter, this or this one they'll both work. And then you can kind of see, some people say there's like a knockout wrap or a submission wrap. These are both considered like the knockout wrap because you're going over the back of the hand so they don't break your hands, and it's a little bit thicker on the wrist. I find a grappling wrap is a little bit thinner and less bulky on the knuckles. This way you can have more dexterity in hand. But the way I do my wraps, we have equal wins to knockouts to submissions, so it doesn't really matter. They're nice and loose, and now she's ready to warm up. All right, so thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed the fighter wrap.